Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode number 12 of the second series of the Stevenage Football Club podcast, hosted by myself and Stevenage supporter Matt Farley, along with other Stevenage fans discussing everything Stevenage, everything League Two, every week of the season. Now, with me today, again, two regulars, no introduction. Just going to fire them off the bat because it is quite a big podcast tonight, actually. With the return of our Stevenage supporters on Saturday,
it's another happy podcast.
It's another happy podcast. And who would have thought, fellas? Can
Two happy podcasts in a row. It's making me emotional.
Can I just say, who would have thought Stevenage would have been in the FA Cup third round draw on Monday? What's going on there?
Massive.
I think
I don't think anyone has been able to predict that because I honestly thought, I'd say before the game, I think me and Reece were in agreement with this, that we were either going to get smashed and just rolled over, or we take them to extra time and maybe be a school draw. So I think me and Reece had agreement on that, and obviously
I think that was the overall consensus, wasn't it? It was one of those two. I had belief in the team though because I thought the win against Port Vale was so big, as we said last week. But do you know what, right? Do you know what really impressed me about the FA Cup tie? More than anything, not just the fact that the players had that amazing moment, and that was a big moment we had at the club on Saturday to go through and obviously draw Swansea as well at home. But for me, it was, all season long we've said this Stevenage team have got potential to be a really good team. And that moment, those 90 minutes when we played, I know Hull City changed the side a little bit, but it really proved that actually we've got a really good team. You could see the quality in the team. We've got a bloody good side we have. And I think that was a real defining moment for the team. But amazing moment. Big welcome back, Reece Donnelly and Daniel Keane. Boys, thank you for coming on tonight.
Always a pleasure.
Stop nicking my line.
Do you know what's really annoying? We were supposed to be at Shepplebury tonight, but unfortunately we're not in the same household. So we're on the phone again.
Well, we can move in together, Farley, if you'd like. We'll call it the Borough House.
Depends if you clean your shit up. The Borough House. Yeah.
I genuinely.
How sad would that be?
2 days, I think.
No, with the Borough House, I'd live in a Borough House, mate. Bit of merchandise. I'd live in the Borough House and record.
I've been with you on enough nights out in hotels to know that.
Oh, and don't worry.
Space with you is dangerous, Farley.
If the vaccine comes out, we'll be back there, buddy. Probably next season. But look, next season's not that far off, really. It's only half a year, so we'll be back. Maybe Easter. Don't count your chickens. Could be Easter.
Don't make me dream, Farley.
Have we got an Easter? I've got the fixture list up here. Let's have a look. Oldham, Manchester. Oh, that's a biggie.
Do you see how optimistic Mr. Farley is, ladies and gentlemen?
Mate, I'm always
we have to deal with on a constant basis.
Look,
yeah, we've got. I was going to say we've got Scunthorpe on the last day as well. So
what a trip that is!
Listen, we're going.
What a lovely trip.
We're going back to the Lamix on Saturday, We're going back to the Lamix on Saturday. I'm a very excited Stevenage supporter tonight. And who wouldn't be after our week of football? Anyway,
we are finally... All I'm going to say is we're finally going home. Finally going home.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to? I've missed going to Stevenage Football Club this year massively, as I'm certain you both have as well. But it's the moment for me, one, to see the players, because... Do you know what? I worked out, right, with the pre-season games, with them, we've missed, all the games together, we've missed 24 games for this team, right, including the pre-season. 24 games, right, we haven't seen this team.
For the moment, and you get a connection with them as well, don't you?
Yeah, but the thing for me is that moment when the players come out and we first kind of lay eyes on the players for the first time, that kind of moment of euphoria of knowing that we're back supporting Stevenage, and the moment when we walk in the Lamix and we see the stadium and the pitch.
It's gonna feel like a brand new season, if I'm perfectly honest, because obviously I'd say a brand new season, because even in previous seasons we'd obviously have a thrown together team, some trialists, some of the new players. Obviously, the later games we would have a look at the players. And obviously, when when first day of the season comes, you're like, wow, can they really do this?
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same question now. That can they do it under the pressure of obviously of a crowd? I know majority of them are, and I can only see crowds being back as swinging in our favour, especially with the fixture we've got coming up on the Saturday. But yeah, as I said, just it feels like a new season, and because it seems everyone's new, because the most I've seen of players, obviously seeing the odd one come in Sainsbury's, that's it. So,
well, I think it'll be a massive boost to the team. I think obviously we've had an excellent week of results, in my opinion. Obviously the win against Port Vale, the FA Cup glory, and then obviously the 1-1 draw last night. I think it's a perfect time for us to come back for the team. Win Saturday, 15 points. And with the crowd being back, hopefully that will really spur the team on in some tough games in December. So I think it's like timing. I think it's perfect for us to come back to watch Stevenage, in my opinion. Mostly
not just for the team, but especially because of how, obviously, of our last week. Getting through in the World Cup, FA Cup.
Oh my God! Have I gone into a coma or something for the last 20 years? What's the World Cup?
Don't know where
that massive.
But
who did we beat? Wasn't it Sweden? Wasn't it on Sunday? Wasn't it on penalties?
Argentina.
Sorry, Sweden. Sweden was Concord. Sorry, because they were in yellow. So who would it have been? Who would it have been on Sunday then? Who plays in orange and black?
Orange.
Orange. Who's that?
This is proper. Oh no, Ivory Coast. There you go.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. Although they were orange and green, orange and white.
The Boro against Ivory Coast.
We've beaten Swindon and Ivory Coast.
Been a big week this week, folks.
Who we got next? Who wears white? Swansea. Who wears white in the World Cup? White.
England. We're facing the rest of
there you go. Yeah, last group game's England. There we go. But no, I agree with you. Come on, boys, we've got to talk about it, haven't we? FA Cup, what's going on there? I mean, we went into the FA Cup tie, didn't we? And it was a bit like, well, for me, and I think you boys said it as well, for me, it was a bit like we were going into that tie, and I always looked upon it as a win-win, because if we won, the confidence of the team and the moment and the memories and all of those things it would give our Stevenage Football Club would be massive. But if we didn't go through, then it's not really looked upon as a massive disappointment, because we didn't expect to go through anyway. But to win on penalties and, for Stevenage to play the way that we played, again, I just said to you guys before, for me, it's a real defining moment for this team. And I feel like this team that we have at Stevenage, potentially, I think we've got a really good side here, and I really credit Rebs for putting this team together along with the other people, because I think we've got a really good Stevenage team that could be successful for a few years.
Yeah, just another thing that backs that up is obviously all the whole fans, they can say, the amount of changes they made. We made 5 changes and obviously, and I would still, when it's still a team that's able to compete against players that did start in the Championship last season, or did play a decent amount of games, or just players that will play, which are just standard League One players. So, regardless of how many changes it is, we made some changes as well, and obviously.
It was such a good performance.
I guess it just shows our depth as well. It shows our depth as well.
Do you know what? I'm going to be completely honest.
Make changes and still compete.
I'm going to be completely honest. I thought we were unlucky not to win in 90 minutes.
Definitely.
I thought we were the better team. But when they got the penalty, I thought, fuck's sake, Stevenage have been the better team here for this game, and they've gone and nicked the penalty, and then obviously Listy scored, and it was all back on. But what a performance. Reece, mate, what were your thoughts on it? Because I think you'll be exactly the same like me. I was over the moon for the performance and the team, and really, we haven't really seen a defining moment like that at our Stevenage Football Club for quite a while, really, have we, to be honest?
To be honest, I think that's the best Stevenage performance I've seen since probably 2018.
Would you say Mansfield away? Was that the last moment?
At home in my mind, that 3-1 game.
Oh, yeah, I know the one you mean, yeah.
We just ran them, start to finish. They were being forced to take 25-yard pot shots. we were getting in good areas. Newton and Ote were terrifying their centre-backs. Our midfield was working the way it should. The strikers got no space. The target man wasn't a danger for us. The game was managed perfectly. The subs were absolute perfect. We just absolutely ran it start to finish, and the longer it went on, you went, oh no. But
yeah, I know, bloody hell. Do you know what it bloody was though? When we went 1-1, I was so over the moon because that really captivated the performance. But to go to penalties again, to go to another penalty shootout, it's like, oh God, in front of the New North
I remember going in the Checker Trade or the Leasing or the Papa John's or whatever you want to call it.
The Dominoes.
I always watch the penalty shootouts and go, oh, I love Stevenage to be in a proper penalty shootout.
God,
I don't. I'm bored of it now, Father.
Oh, mate. Do you know what it is? But again, do you know what's mad? When it went to penalties, I knew we'd won. For one main reason.
Lewis Potter shushing the keeper.
No, well, yeah, that as well. But there was no pressure on us. It's like, and I know in the moment the players won't agree with that because I've been involved in penalty shootouts before. It doesn't matter what penalty shootout you're in; there are always pressure moments. But deep to the core, we weren't expected to go through, and all the pressure was on them. I mean, didn't they make the FA Cup final just 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
My God, right? All the pressure was on them, right? And then you look at our team, there's a few experienced pros in there like Prosser. And then you look at their team, and there's still a couple of experienced players. But there's a lot of young lads. And I just had a feeling that we'd win it on penalties. When Tom missed the first penalty, still believed that Jamie Cumming would pull off a save. And he did it. What a moment when all the players ran to Jamie. Wow. Haven't seen a moment like that for years.
I think we couldn't, after the 80th minute when we scored and I went crazy. I think everyone was the same. We couldn't stop moving. We was also very, oh my God, we were getting sweaty and all sorts. And I think when 90 minutes was up and we went to extra time, I think Stevenage fans, and to be honest, the refs probably said the same to the players in terms of, you've done yourselves proud here today, but why not go that one step further? And I was fairly confident we was never conceding in that extra time. Everyone to a man was brilliant defensively in that. It was resolute and it was industrial, and we showed different sides to our game. And the longer the penalties went on, I just felt, this is happening, because you could kind of see it in the boys' eyes. Apart from Pet, they was all very good penalties, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. For me,
I mean, our left back and a C36-year-old, is it? CDM stepped up and put them top bins. So
I for me as a Stevenage supporter, it was, and again, you know, we've all been on board with this new project that we've got at our Stevenage Football Club. And for me, it was a real proud moment to see a new group of players who have really found it tough for 2 to 3 months now. And, you know, things haven't worked out. You know, the penny hasn't dropped yet, not clicked, although we won on Tuesday. And for them to go out there and play with that quality in the game, I thought was a really proud moment for this team. And then, not just to draw in normal time, to win on penalties and to have that moment, I just thought, the Stevenage supporter, I was so proud of them. To have that moment for the football club, it shone a bit of popularity on our club from all of the stuff that we came over with in the summer. And then more to that, we go and draw another home tie against Swansea. So, you know, we've got another... I know Swansea will be tough, you know, they're fourth in the Championship, but it's still winnable. It's at home, and the one thing that I mentioned about is home form for our Stevenage Football Club, and we seem to be rallying with some home wins at the minute. So... It's a big moment for the club. How much did we get? Was it 52 grand for the win?
It was 25 or 52. I'm not too sure.
I believe it was 25 for the win, and then you include the TV monies we would have received. So 25, and I think it's if we beat Swansea.
Wow, so that's a lot of money for the
It's
football
quite
club.
typical, really. The year they slashed the prize money is the year we have somewhat of a run in it.
Yeah.
But,
we ain't been on a cup run for a good few years now in the FA Cup, so it's great to see our Stevenage there. And you know what as well? We were one ball away from getting Manchester United away.
I nearly screamed.
One ball! One!
Nearly screamed.
Although
Was it away?
It was.
Yeah, it was at Old Trafford.
I worked
the thing is,
tracking coronavirus rates
but what I
in
was
Manchester
saying,
like a madman.
what I was saying was, when Robbie Savage pulled ball 45 out, I went mad. I was like, yes, because obviously it meant that Stevenage were at home. I was over the moon. But we can go. I mean, look, you got to think, right? We'll have a couple of test events in the bag. I like to think we'll pump that to 1,500 to 2,000, hopefully. We'll have a good crowd there for that. I can't wait for that. Steve's playing.
Can only hope they up the crowds by the time by the time the third round comes along.
Yeah.
And also, I know everyone goes mental. They want a Premier League team and all that lot.
Yeah.
But a Premier League team away, I get we won't be able to go. Obviously, it'd be TV money, all that lot. But if for whatever reason we get somewhat of a chance in the game, you got to think about Stevenage. We've got to have VAR in the game. So
I know what you mean.
That's what kind of put me off it, because because I feel like watching back Lissy's goal from the weekend, it's one of those which could have been, say, half a heel offside and given offside.
Half a heel,
yeah. It looked like one of those, which would have been.
So, by the way, I hate to butt in. I'm so sorry. I'm just eating my shepherd's pie. So. Very nice. I thought I'd do, because it's such a positive podcast, I thought I'd have to do it while we do it. So. Oh, sorry, Gan. Continue.
Matt Farley, everyone.
Just giving us an update.
At least it's not crisps.
Oh God.
At least it's not crisps. Oh, hang on. What's that I see now?
I had crisps the other week, but I don't think anyone noticed. So.
No, do you know what, Dan? I completely agree with you. I think what's cool. Obviously, we know how big the game is Saturday, don't we? Don't beat around the bush. With us going back as well, but for this Stevenage team and for our Stevenage Football Club to have 15 points, to go 10 points clear Southend is huge. Although we're now technically 3 games unbeaten, really now, because obviously we got the point last night away at Walsall. We drew 1-1. What were your thoughts on it, fellas? Do you know what? It was, for me, it was a bit mixed. I was really happy for the points, because I thought it was a really good draw away from home. The boys had just played 120 minutes, but at the same time, it was gutting in the sense where we could have had our first away win, and then we conceded a last-minute penalty. What were your thoughts on it? Because I thought Stevie did really well, considering the fact that the boys had to go 120 minutes on Sunday.
I'll go first.
Haven't me and you got a bit of debate as well on this one? I think we have, haven't we?
Later, we'll save that for later, fella.
Are we saving it for later? Is that what we're doing? Oh, okay.
The first half was poor. Let's be fair. We looked like a side that had done 120 minutes, not 2 days before.
I thought we looked tired,
little things, and then we come into the second half and it was real industrial type performance. Get the pen, slotted away very well, and to be honest, we were comfortable. I was perfectly comfortable. Even those last 10, we were still kind of in it, wasn't we? We had chances to make it 2 in those last 10. And then it was when the board went up for 5. One penalty shout turned down.
Another penalty shout
turned down. And they were both Stonewall penalties. So
I've got to be. They were.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, Jesus Christ, Vincelots. Jesus Christ, we could have lost that game, So,
they had a good draw.
With those in the back of the referee's mind,
Yeah.
Got slid in and gave the referee no chance. I felt the point was fair on reflection. I'm content with the point. Just frustrating it with the circumstances in it. I thought it was a decent performance given the circumstances.
It's just a little bit frustrating because we're unbeaten. We've gone 2 league games where we've won and withdrawn, but then we've slipped back into the bottom 2. It's just a little bit frustrating because it's like, Jesus Christ, we've picked up 4 points in 2 games.
It's fine margins, isn't it? But you can't. you can't not win 14 games in a row and expect to be in a nice position. But I think we're a different side to that now. We showed a decent side to our game last night, and just stop the silly fouls. We said this a few weeks back. We seem to say it every week. Just stop panicking, and we'll be okay.
Do you know what?
Do what we've done all game, I think.
God's honest truth, I watched all of that last night, and the one thing that I took is before the game, I said, I take a point. I said that straight after the FA Cup, to be fair. I take a point because I think, another draw away from home, there's quite a lot of results there where we've talked, but more than that, it's 4 points in 2 games. It's a really good run of form. And then if we beat Southend at home, get up to 15 points, that's been a really good 2 weeks. However, I could tell you within the first 10 minutes of the game, I think I said it on our Facebook chat, I just thought the team looked tired. And I just saw, there was a couple of times where we were giving the ball away, and I just think that was just down to tired legs. And you could see it. And do you know what? I will praise the players, actually, because to have that, to then go 1-0 up and find a way where we're winning the game, I thought was a really big moment. To have that 120 minutes of football to go away. Don't forget, Walsall did not play on the weekend. We found ourselves 1-0 up, had some good chances. I do agree with both of you, though. We said the same thing after Morecambe. I don't know what happened at Morecambe. We were 1-0 up. We started giving away stupid fouls, and then one of the fouls led to the goal. And then last night, almost the same thing. However, we give away the fouls. Romain gets away with one, in my opinion. I don't know how that wasn't a penalty.
He bundled him down.
The first two...
He can't do that.
The first 2 are stonewall for me. That third one's... but you've given 2 stonewall ones.
When you've missed them.
Before.
To defend Scotty, I know what he's trying to do.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I know what Scotty's trying to do. I'm a centre back as well, and I knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to get there for the turn and the shot. However, he just read it completely wrong, and the guy didn't even turn and just went through. Although, do you think a few of them actually kicked him? I know Scotty got the touch on, but it seemed like actually a few of them brought him down.
Yeah, Petty got a small touch on him, but I don't know. It did kind of look like the player was going down already, so it might have been to do with that, but I'm not entirely sure. There was a lot of bodies in there. It's hard to tell who was the main culprit.
People behind Scotty. What's he doing? He had to stand still. So and if it was Petty that gave it away, then he doesn't have to go anywhere. I think I read a scout report on us earlier, and it just said individual areas weak.
And it's been like that the entire season, I think. The whole season.
It means it's not a coaching thing, so it means it can be changed, which is a good thing. And we're still making silly errors, but we're getting closer to where we want to be.
We're doing more positives, which make up for the silly errors. I don't know if there was any really silly errors last week against Vale for the goal. But
this is the thing, right? But in terms of the errors, there hasn't been massive errors. It's just been a couple of mistakes, just 1 or 2 mistakes we've made that have just cost us either a win in the last 10 minutes of games. It's nothing like we're making loads of mistakes. It's just 1 or 2 really kind of vital mistakes we're making. Just in 1 or 2 of our games, like Morecambe, for example, last night. It's just 1 or 2 big moments.
I thought Spine throughout last night was brilliant. Prossel, man of the match by a mile for me. Brilliant performance. I thought Vince a lot put in a good performance.
How good's Romeo Hutton?
I thought both played brilliant.
It's nice to have a strong spine. And it's all of the team, isn't it? It's all of them. So it's getting there, isn't it? And I know we said months ago, we're seeing good things. Well, now we're seeing a lot of good things, and we're seeing results for it. So
look, I fully believe now that the one thing that I think we've needed to find is a good partnership up top. We said that last year. We said that this season. It's taken us a couple of months because we've had so many new centre forwards. Great news is Danny Newton, I said just off record, Danny Newton is showing glimpses of the old Danny Newton that first came to the club. For me, he's improving. He's showing little glimpses. He's not there just yet, but he's on the right path to being and playing how he did in that first season where he was just brilliant. There's just little glimpses to his game.
The things we don't see with Noots, as I tweeted out, he won 26. He went for 26 headers yesterday. I think it was 7 more than Walsall. That's insane. It's creating space for the Ote for his shot, for his goal against Vale. It's for all these little things. He's always keeping
this is it.
On their toes.
This is it.
And it's just that we looked at the stats for how much the Walsall centre backs have gone for it, and they've gone for 8 or 7 each, I think it was. I think me and Reece were discussing it last night. I was just saying, if you look at previous games, they aren't winning that many, near that many amounts.
Well,
it's Noots forcing him to work, forcing him to make errors, forcing him to win corners, fouls, or even putting players under pressure.
You know the good thing?
Like a lung-busting run, and then Carter appeared the other side to hit it. Yeah. Okay, didn't go in, and I thought Carter could have done better. But it's that kind of stuff, isn't it?
It was a very good block, which I do think that shot wouldn't have come if Noots hadn't thrown himself at every single ball.
But this is the thing. This is the thing for me. The one thing we've needed is a good partnership in the final third. Danny, as I said, Danny's shown glimpses, and Remy Ote scored 3 on his last 5. Again, couple from the penalty spot, but he scored, a really good open play goal against Port Vale last week. He's showing real glimpses that he's going to be a very good player. So we found a partnership there. But again, the stats don't lie, and we said this, that there has been positive stats. We've created a lot of chances this season, and let's be honest about it. If we'd have been able to put the ball in the back of the net earlier, Stevenage should probably be up in the top 12. To be honest with you, so we've shown good stats. It looks like to me that Revs has finally found a formation that works, and he's nearly found his strongest 11, and he's still got players there that can come in, like Elliot List did in the FA Cup last night. So for me, I think Stevenage are on the right track now. We're finally on that. But for the first time in a long time, I can actually see the team climbing the league table. Last year I never really saw that. But for the first time in a long time, I can see this Stevenage team now climbing the division because he's formed a partnership in the final third, and he's nearly found his strongest 11. So I think we're in a really good position. I know we're second bottom, but I think we're in a really good place. One player I just want to talk about really quickly. And I spoke to, I think, Reece and the other boys in the chat. Jack Smith. Now, I know that we spoke about Jack a couple of weeks ago and how good his performances are coming. Now, this season, I've watched loads of games. Well, every game, obviously, but loads of games where Jack's played, and I've been really impressed with him. I remember the game at Forest Green, although it wasn't a good team performance, I remember watching that first half and thinking, Jesus Christ, Jack Smith here, whenever we get the ball, he's running our game for us. And he showed really good things. How bloody good has he come on this season? Jack Smith.
Oh, yeah, it's been a massive leap, because I think both me and Reece were discussing, we'd say around Mansfield when he was just starting to play regularly. He was okay, but we weren't entirely sure what he actually did in the midfield. So obviously, we knew he had his place for some reason, one reason or another, but it's really been really clear now what he does, and he just seems to be that player that keeps everything ticking over. So it's not like Vince he hasn't got a specific role to send everyone forward, or to play balls forward, or make challenges, or support the centre backs like Vince a lot does, but he's just, I don't know, it's just really, really cool. It's just really, really good to watch, I guess.
Do you know what it is with him?
And he does seem a lot more calm on the ball as well, which is a massive bonus, especially.
Do you know what it is with him? Because he's had that real quality academy coaching. Jack, let's go through Jack, right? Jack started at Tottenham. You don't get picked up or looked upon Tottenham if you're not a good player. So he started at Tottenham. He's then done the rounds. I think he was at Luton for a little bit, but obviously he's had the academy progression with Stevenage. So technically he's a good player. But here's the thing, and I don't think a lot of people know about this. So Jack actually played under Alex Ravel when Alex Ravel was coaching the academy. So it's not like one of these things where Revs has gone, I'll tell you what, we'll just gamble on Jack. Revs has actually managed Jack before when Revs was coach. And Jack, if I'm right, and I'm not certain, but I think Jack was the captain of that youth team that played under Revs. So what's been so nice is Revs has got into the hot seat and he's actually become manager at the club. And he's brought Jack through as well, who he managed when Jack was a youth player. And now Jack's playing like this as a league player. I mean, I actually look upon Jack now as, one of the biggest players in the team now. When I get my team sheet, Jack Smith goes in for me now because of his performance. He's so good.
I've seen a boy become a man. I think he's adapted to the level so quickly. And what's rare with a youth player, and he still is, this is his first season, a youth player, you'll look at the team sheet and gone, oh, that's brave. He's gone with Jack Smith in the team sheet now. You just kind of look at it and go, yeah. Jack Smith's pass rate was the best on the park last night by 10%. 10% was a lot of passes last night. Smooth is a good... What I've seen a lot more is attacking intent. He's a good dribbler. He's not...
He does seem to put himself about for challenges as well. He didn't shy away from it. He puts his body about. He's not throwing himself into every other challenge.
Do you know what he does?
He's putting himself about, which is...
Do you know what Jack does as well?
Good game management, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what he does? Not a lot of people see this. One, he's actually a really good set-piece taker. When he was in the academy, he was the free kick taker. He's actually really good at set pieces, but obviously he just doesn't have his chance on a free kick. But if you watch Jack, right, and I noticed this last night, I think he nearly scored in the FA Cup. When we go forward, right, he lingers around the edge of the box. Have a look at that next time we play. You'll see it. Watch him on Saturday if he plays. When Boro go forward, he's in this little area on the edge of the box, reading the game. For any time the ball comes out, he's having a pop. And he did it in the FA Cup and he nearly scored. Ball come out, hit it and nearly went in. He, for such a young lad, a good, clever player.
I was genuinely about to mention that to you in terms of the positions he's picked up is of someone so above his level now. And that was something I worry about when youth midfielders come in, and we had little worries about Arthur, although he seems to have come on a bit. But Jack Smith's positioning is perfect. He works well with Vincent. He works well with Carter. He works well with all these different midfielders, and he can adjust his game to whatever Rev's game plan is. I've been really, really impressed with him lately.
Do you know what? I'm going to make a big bold prediction now.
Oh,
and it might not come true. I don't know.
Going to play in the World Cup. He already has.
well, look, Ben Wilmot's not far off it. So I think we all talk about the future of Stevenage Football Club is those younger lads who come through, Jack Smith, Louis Fernandez, Arthur Warrington even. And they're the profits for the football club in the future. But I actually think, give him a few years, let him get a few seasons under his bag. I can't remember how old Jack is. I think Jack's 19, 20. I'm not exactly sure. It might be 18. I don't actually know. But let him get older. I actually think there could be a future Stevenage captain for the future.
He's a good talker, isn't he? I think the thing we've got to do now is manage it carefully. Revs has got to manage him carefully. Jack Smith cannot play every game because some games just aren't going to be made for him, and that's no offence to Jack in any way. There are playing games where you might have Vince like Marshall next to each other, for example. I think we've just got to manage our use carefully. It's a very dangerous game to just go, yep, he's ready now, throw him in.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you. He's got to be managed.
Qualities now. It's a great option. If we had Jack Smith on the bench, for example, and Carter had to go off, that's brilliant. I'm not sure I would have said that at the start of the season. He's come on so far in such a short period of time. So it's now about managing him right, which I trust in Revs to do. So We've just got to be careful with him now, because there's no doubt in my mind now that he's a top footballer.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I think he's a really good player. I've been really impressed with him, and I'm looking forward. Do you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing him live, because look, it's not just Jack; it's the team in the whole. Because we've watched the team online, but it's another thing watching them live. You see certain things that you don't. Yeah, but you see things that you wouldn't do on the iFollow, and I'm looking forward to watching that on Saturday and this team how they play. Now, Mr. Donnelly, me and you have got a disagreement about something. Would you like to enlighten the Stevenage Football Club world of what that disagreement is?
Well, I think this was quite a wild debate on Stevenage Twitter sphere last night.
I think it was.
And it's one we've actually debated kind of before in this podcast. Our centre-back duo.
Yeah.
I think last night Lawrence sent into the commentary. I think Cuthbert and Prosser might be like our Gerrard and Lampard. Two very good players in their own right, but we can't seem to get it matched right. Now, I am fairly certain that this Saturday I would like to see Prosser, because I think his performance standard has gone up rapidly recently, and I'd like to see Terence. I thought Terence was unbelievable against Hull. I think he has a superior technical quality. I think he can bring the ball out. I think he's got a good range of passing. You would stick with Scott, wouldn't you? I think you would stick with Scott and Prosser. I'm not sure what Dan thinks. Although, and I will say this, although I do understand the argument for Terence and Prosser, because, look, I've always liked Terence. When Terence joined, I listened to, it's really funny, I listened to a podcast. I think I put it into you boys. I don't know if you boys had listened in the end, but he was on a podcast called the No Damn Filter podcast. And I listened to him talk about his career on there. And he's not the most, he never had a massive academy background. He was at Reading for a little bit, but he played college football. There's a little story about him where he played cage concrete football growing up. That was his learning of the game, right? The security guard at my uni used to
coach
him in that. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, he was talking about it.
In London, that.
Yeah, that's it.
I've been with him.
He said he played college football and he went to play non-league. I think it was Staines that he played at, and basically he played non-league. I think he had a trial at QPR, a trial at Reading, but he never had that. A bit like Jack Smith, he never really had that academy setup coming up. Played a lot of men's football, but ever since Terence joined our Stevenage, I've been really impressed, and I've always liked Terence. His performance again. In the FA Cup, his performance against Harrogate, he was, in my opinion, he's been brilliant. And I would look to play Terence a lot more. I just feel that in order for Scotty, and I know Scotty obviously give the pen away last night, and I can understand people are frustrated. Scotty, he's our captain, he's our leader, he's probably the best defender in the side. He's to be dropped on the basis of that last night, and not having a run of games where he's been awful. And to be honest with you, Scotty's been better than Prosser this season. Prosser's had two really good games, but there has been a lot of games where Prosser hasn't particularly played well, and Prosser was dropped as well. So I wouldn't necessarily jump to the gun and drop Scotty straight away. I understand that Terence and Prosser played well in the FA Cup, but it is just one game, and I think to drop Scotty just on that last night, I think would be a little bit unfair.
I do think it's a bit. I do think it's a bit harsh to drop him right off the bat, because I know you said that he's made the odd mistake this season. Who hasn't in our team? Obviously, we can't be dropping everyone. I do still think, apart from that last bit at the end, I thought he had quite a good game. It's just obviously,
I agree with you actually, Dan.
It's just overshadowed by that by the end of it, and I personally think, I know everyone's saying Prosser man of the match. He did have a brilliant second half, but he was quite shaky in the first half. And That's not any insult to him. It just obviously we took a little bit to get into the game because of Jamie Cumming. His kicks, they seemed a little bit I don't know, rushed, I guess.
The whole defence was rushed, wasn't it? And when Charlie will know this as a defender, when your other defenders are rushing, you kind of start rushing and panicking. You kind of want to keep the tempo with them. You want to keep the pace.
Yeah, it's very difficult when the players around you aren't playing particularly well or are panicking around you, and you're having to keep your performance to the same. It is a very difficult thing to do.
I think after the drinks break, 21 minutes in, by the way, well done, Pat. We was much more calm and solidified. I think we're both misunderstanding my argument. I'm not saying Cuthbert and Prosser have been horrendous and one of them needs dropping.
Oh, yeah.
I think Terence brings a quality to the centre-back in terms of his technical ability. I think his reading of the game. I think he can do that lung-busting run into the midfield and push the team up the pitch.
Yeah, I really do think he does deserve the start.
And I'm not saying drop Scotty forever, Prosser and TVC going forward only, but I just think right now there is a space for Terence, and right now I don't see much. I thought Prosser has been the better defender, so TVC and Prosser for me personally. Saturday is something I want to see more of, because
definitely
they kept Tom Eaves by the penalty, and someone Samuelson, who's they're both League One forwards. They scored 20 odd goals in League One, so I think that's a partnership that could work, and I think something I want to see is Terence as a centre-back in the back four, and I think right now we can afford to do it, whereas maybe we couldn't before. So
yeah, I mean, I do see your point. I think if Scotty is either injured or he's played a lot of games where he needs a rest, I would definitely give Scott a rest. In terms of the Scott and Prosser debate, as in who's performed the better or who deserves to play, I just feel...
As I said, I just don't think they work together.
No, they don't work together. I just feel that Prosser's had 2 good games, but there has been a lot of games in the games we've played where Prosser has looked a little bit off the pace and a little bit shaky.
His performances have been... You know what you're getting with Scotty in terms of there's an average, but I feel Scotty's average has dropped off quite a bit from even last season, really.
Yeah, I mean, it might be something to do that he's had another year on his tenure, maybe. And, Scott's, not in back in his career, but
33 now.
It's
just one of those Lampard-Gerrard things where, not that they're too similar, I just think... both their qualities don't really. There's different partnerships you have as the centre back.
Don't get me wrong. Look, I like Luke Prosser. I think Prosser's a cracking centre back. But out of the 2, I think Scotty's played better this season. Although Prosser's had 2 good games.
Would you play Scott and Prosser, or are you agreeing with me and you drop Prosser for Terence?
For me, unless Scotty is injured, he's either tired or he's had a consistent run of games where he isn't performing, I don't believe he should be dropped for a game. He's the captain.
But who would you play with him?
So to play with him, normally I would sit here and go, I'd play Scotty and Pross. But as we've seen, there have been games where those 2 together haven't particularly worked. So if I had to honestly choose, I would probably either go Scotty with Terence. If Terence isn't available to play, I'd probably go Scotty with Ross Marshall.
And that would be your choice for Saturday, Southend, Scotty.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I want to see Terence play. I want to see Terence play. And this is the problem that we've got with the back line. It's a good problem to have. Romeo Hutton's performing. And for me, he's been a really big player for us the last couple of weeks. Not just the last couple of weeks, this season. And I don't think he deserves to be dropped at all. He's been brilliant, Romeo Hutton. So then that leaves, okay, Terence, Luther, Ben Coker. I don't think it's just with the centre-halves. I think there's a problem with the full-backs as well because, you know, there have been some good performances back there. Again, I want to see Terence play. So I don't just think it's the centre-halves. I think there's a real debate with the full-backs.
I think right now Terence walks into it because of his superior technical ability.
What about Terence at right back?
I don't think Terence is a right back.
I'm not the biggest fan of him playing there, especially with obviously Luther and Hutton playing well. Both of them were superb one-on-one defensively last night, and that's where we can see that Luther's that's not always his strong point, but his one-on-one defending. He didn't let players cut inside. He stepped back, and he made a few tackles, and Romeo Hutton did the same thing. So,
Dan, what would you do centre-back-wise? What would you say?
Well, I'd probably say Scotty and TVC, but obviously if Scotty needs to be dropped, I don't mind either.
All I'll say though,
I'm not bothered with either, but
all I'll say, look, Cross and Terence have had a really good game in the FA Cup, but don't count all your chickens on that bet because League Two is very different. And there could be a game where we trust those two to play and they fail miserably. So don't get so caught up on they've had a really good game. Oh, right, brilliant. Right, let's play them two now because they've played really well together. It can get, in League Two, it's a different kettle of fish. And sometimes you need Scotty Cuthbert back there. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I'm up for giving it a go, but I just don't think that Scott Cuthbert deserves to be dropped.
I think the good thing is, as we said, we now have options for a variety of situations.
Yeah, totally agree.
If the team played with, for example, if we played Crew or like last night, Walsall, I think that's a game for Ben Coker because of how he's a bit more defensive. I think because of his athleticism against a team like Southend, you probably want Hutton at left back and Luther on the right.
I mean,
you know what you're getting from Luther.
I agree. Look, the thing
is, a bit
is
more wishy-washy in the game.
The
Luther,
thing is,
has his positives and negatives, but you know what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got the stats here. And defence, we've conceded 16 goals in 15 games. We've got the 7th best defensive record in the league. I mean, it's not one of these things where we're down the bottom and the defence isn't playing well. We've got the 7th best defensive. I mean, normally, you don't normally drop your centre-halves when the team's got such a good defence. You don't normally do it unless the back line letting in goals and those boys aren't performing. So it's a difficult debate because
as I said,
there's a lot of players back there.
We have a variety of options now. It's good we're having these conversations. I imagine Reds is scratching his head thinking, but it's good we have the variety of defenders. We bring different things now. It's the first time I can say that about our defence in a long time.
I mean, again, I didn't think Scotty had an awful game last night. I mean, he nearly scored as well. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have a terrible game.
Anything particularly.
Yeah. But for Southend at home,
his standard has slightly dropped for me, and due to it's mainly a pace issue for me. More than anything else, is just
might be playing with a niggle.
As I said, I really like that technical player who can step out and chip a ball to the wing, for example. Have a good reader of the game at the back, and that's not to say Cuthbert and Prosser can't read the game. I just think in terms of being able to read the game and delivering what it needs, I think Terence, and to be fair, I think Ross can have the chance to do it, but once again, the athleticism thing. So it's interesting. You probably never play Scotty, Prosser and Coker together, do you?
No.
It depends on the others.
Interesting debate. Again, it'll be really interesting this Saturday because obviously who Rev's going to choose. Again, it's a very good thing that we're discussing these things because shows that the team has been performing, which is, very, very important. So obviously, it's a big day this Saturday for us. Team selection, this will be quite good to go to because we just had a debate about the centre-backs as well. Obviously, it's such a big game for us. Southend at home, they're bottom, we're second bottom. A win can put us 10 points clear. 15 points is, for our Stevenage Football Club is a good platform. It gives us a nice little cushion because, we've got some real tough games. Again, I've got the fixture list in front of me. December is just so tough. It's madness to see how many difficult games we've got in a row. So, we really do have to win. And obviously, first game back that we're back. What's your team selection, fellas? I'll start with you, Reece. Team selection for Saturday in really such a big game for us.
Yeah, we need the win, don't we? But on the flip side, there's also 1 loss in 7 and we're scoring consistently. So we're getting there, but I don't think anyone can argue that we don't need to win. We absolutely, this is win it. Southend lack quality, really, and this is why you have to go for this game by the bull of the horns. So coming at right back, I have Luther just because of the attacking quality. I'm going to stick with my initial thing, Prosser and Terence for me. But once again, it's a good option to have if you need to solidify anything. I hope we don't get to that position of mind. Hutton at left back due to, as I said, his athleticism. This one's difficult for me, but due to his form, and I don't know about his fitness, because of obviously his age, but Roman Vincela, and that's the player I actually wanted to mention. Unbelievable for the past month now. Like top class. So I think he's another player. I would go with Listy, I think. That's harsh on Charlie Carter, I know. But I feel Listy is attacking games at the moment. He brings that pace. He's terrifying in that position. I thought he was good there against Hull. I thought when he came on last night, he made a real difference. And then, once again, harsh on Jack Smith. But I don't feel this is a game we need to keep things ticking over by. I think this is a game we need absolutely high tempo.
A game we need to attack.
Yeah, a team we need to properly go for. So I'm not sure this is the game for him. So I'm going to reverse my original call. Carter as a number 8, List on the other side. And then just ahead of them, Pet. And then up front, how can you say anything but Newton and Ote at the minute?
Yeah, I like that team, mate. Really, really good. And a couple of changes as well. Dan, what's your team, buddy?
Well, I was going to say about Reece playing. Where were you playing Listy? Because it seemed like you playing him a bit deeper was quite bold.
I would play him where he played against Hull in terms of on the right, on the wing.
Yeah.
Most, which I think he can do because we've seen him perform at right back. So I think it's the quality to be able to do that.
I'm struggling with it really because obviously we've been changing our formation all over the place. But
we've got to make changes.
Can I just ask? Revs has been playing the diamond, isn't he? He's been playing the diamond, isn't he?
Yeah, on the right of the diamond. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for me, we need to make a few changes, and I feel Listy had a rough spell of confidence. Someone against Hull was unbelievable, scored. Someone last night changed the game. I feel this is now a game for him to attack and take by the horns and prove a point. And I think his explosive pace could be huge. And as I said, we need to make changes. We can't play the same side we did 2 days ago.
Right. I said I'm a bit lost.
Who's your back four? Start with
definitely I'll start on Luther again. Scotty and TBC. Obviously, if he's not fit enough, then I'll happily see Prosser play. Hutton left back because again it's a game we need to attack rather than sit back in. as Ray said, Vince Lotte's been excellent, and I don't know how he didn't manage to make it into the votes to be player of the month, because I honestly think he's been our best player for a month or even more.
Easily my player of the month. Unbelievable this month. Absolute mountain, and Farley has been proved wrong on that point for me. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'd probably put I'd probably bring back Arthur Reed in, because he is one that, I don't know, he livens up the game a bit more than Jack Smith. Not that Jack Smith deserves to be dropped.
He maintains a certain tempo to the game.
It's a different type of game, and from what we've seen, even just remembering him on his debut against Mansfield, he just seemed to lighten up things, and a lot of things went through him going forward, and he was a bit everywhere. So it's just that injection of a bit more energy that we'd need in there.
That's fair. I forgot about Reedy. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
List or Smith, really, or Tyrone Marsh. Tyrone Marsh is available.
Yes,
who also put in a great performance against Hull.
Considering, I don't know, just because I don't want to play the full 90, the same team that we played last night. It's hard to change it, really, isn't it?
I think you have to. Yeah, I
do think you have to. I think it will be Marsh and Tom Pett, and I have a fit of that's what I'm thinking that, like, realistically, if we're going to be making changes, I'd say those two, and maybe put Marsh in the more advanced role, because obviously you see how many goals he's got. He got 15 plus goals last season, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in a bit more of the advanced role. And
I think he's more of a midfielder now for us, and I thought he was great against Hull.
Yeah, and when the beginning of the season, when he was played out on the wing, and obviously when we were originally playing for 4-6, it just didn't seem to work. So midfield does seem to be where he shines. And obviously Oto and Newton have played a lot recently, but again, I'd say those two. But if I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see Listy be in there for one of those two.
No, I like that team, Dan.
Just because of the amount of minutes both of them played recently. Both Newt has played 120. He played 90 last week, 120, including obviously the penalties after, and 90 last night, and then again 90. It might be a bit much for either one of them.
I like that, mate. That's a really good choice. Really good choice.
But that's a bit. Also got actually. No, I mean, I just think that I don't know whether Carter will be dropped. I know. That's what if I'm thinking realistic and changes and what I'd like to see, then I'd probably bring Carter on, say maybe after 60 minutes.
No, I like that. I like that. That's got to be the longest team selection I think we've listened to as well.
Well, we'd like to give you our minds.
No, Dan, I really like that team, mate. No, there's a couple of good changes in there as well. I think for me, a couple of changes as well on the basis that we've played a lot of games recently and it's been very tough, and we've got an even heavier fixtures coming up in December and around Christmas. So it make not many, but just a couple. So Jamie coming in goal, Luther for me at right back. Again, very difficult with the centre half, but Scotty plays for me, probably with Terence Van Kooten next to Scott. Left back Romeo Hutton, who I think's been great, and I would play him left back on Saturday. The midfield is where I'd have a couple of changes. So Romain Vincelot, the last month I think's been great, and I think that he's really kind of come into his stride, and he's probably needed to have quite a few games to get him going again after a long layoff. And for me, I think he has to play. I think he has to play Saturday. And, make no bones about it as well, Rue is one of the more experienced heads in the squad. So I think Rue's got to play Saturday. The midfield, I would rest Jack Smith Saturday. Not resting because I don't think he's played well. We spoke about Jack earlier. I just think, young lads, give him a rest and look to play him the following week in a couple of those games, just to give other players minutes and to rest the legs as well. So I think for me, on the left side of that diamond, I'd play Arthur Reed, and I'd incorporate Arthur Reed this game, and I would play Arthur Reed at home, give him some game time, give Jack a bit of rest time. So I'd look to put Arthur Reed in the squad. On the right side, I'd look to put Charlie Carter on the right side. I have been impressed with Chaz, and look, I know that Chaz has obviously, it's been tough since he's come back from his injury, but Chaz is a good player, and we saw last night he does get himself into good positions in the pitch. Last night, for example, he had a couple of good chances where he got himself into the areas, really good areas of the pitch. So I'd play Charlie most definitely. On the top of the diamond, obviously Tom Petts. You know what? A player that we haven't actually spoken about. Since Tom Pett has come back, form's really improved. He's come into the team. He signed, and obviously I know we had a loss against Bolton, etc. But he's come back into the team, Tom Pett, and we started getting results. He played against Concord, went through. He played at Morecambe, we got a point. Played Port Vale, we won. Played FA Cup, we won. Played last night, got a point. Tom Pett has come back into the team, and we started picking up points. So I think he's a player that not a lot of people have mentioned in that regard, actually, at the club. Tom Pett has made a massive difference, and so he should, because Tom Pett is really a League One player. So I've been really impressed with Tom Pett since he's come back into the squad.
Yeah, just to add to that, I'm just looking at BBC, just obviously seeing our top scorers, where we are in the league with that lot. Tom Pett has created over 1.2 chances per 90, and he's only played 15.
Yeah, bingo.
And one thing that's gone under the radar as well, Ote, he's got 2 assists as well. So that's
bingo. It's Tom Pett's gone under the radar, and I think that needs to be highlighted. He's come back, and the period that he's come back, Stevenage has started to win and pick up points and get draws as well. So he has got to play, and he's one of the best players in the team. Tom Pett's got to start. And for me, Danny Newton and Remy Ote up top, keep playing them. Keep playing it. Look, they're scoring goals, as you've just mentioned there, Dan. Remy's got an assist. Danny Newton's winning his aerial battle. 26 exactly last night. Keep playing those forward too. They're forming a partnership. And the one thing that we need to form at our Stevenage Football Club is a partnership in the final third. It's something that we've missed for a good few years now. And I really see an opportunity for Stevenage to stay up and survive in this league with those two playing up top. Remy scored 3 goals in 5, and Danny Newton's showing glimpses of the old Danny Newton. So for me, that would be the team, and I would fully expect that Stevenage team to get the win on Saturday, because make no bones about it, we do need to win on Saturday. It's such a big game for us, and not just the fact that us Stevenage fans are going back and, a good 800 of us are going to be in the Lamex. It's for the team and for the league position and for the project of this season and going forward into some tough games, we need a win. There's no other way about it. And also, get a win. That's another win at home. We're starting to build some home form. We've got a few wins at home if we win on Saturday. I think all 3 of our league games the wins would be at home as well. So that's a really important stat. So, no, that would be my team. But really good to discuss that, because there's a few good changes in our team actually as well. Now, obviously, we all know League 2 fellas, 23rd place with 12 points.
Really we don't mention it unless we're up to say it.
We don't mention it, no. All I'll say is it's very tight. Only 6 points difference from 16th to our position. But that's the thing. If we can win Saturday, 10 points clear of the bottom. It's just a massive
well, we dropped from 19th to 23rd.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? Do you know what? That happened with Bradford, right? When we were winning at Bradford, we were second. And then we got the loss, and then we were down to 12. So it's mad to find margins.
One goal still changes everything, doesn't it? And that's why you have to take this game by the absolute bull of the horns, really. But
for me, let's show the difference of quality. Like we did at home. Let's go out there Saturday and let's show everyone that we're a level above them, and that we do belong in League Two. Let's go out there. Let's be on the front foot. Let's be encouraging for each other. Let's be positive. Let's be confident. And as Rev said, play with that winning mentality. And if we do those things, sure, Stevenage will win on Saturday again. It's such a big game. Questions, fellas. Questions. Love the questions. The questions are always a really good section. We've got a couple of questions tonight. We're going to fire them off. First question comes from David Valentine. David has asked, how can the team correct the now famous "we are winning, but let's concede at the death of Gay"? Good question, David. What are your thoughts?
I think that's a Stevenage thing through history, isn't it?
How many last-minute goals have we let in the last 4 years? Sure.
I don't even want to think about it. I think it was would have finished 17th without them last season. So it's only happened once this season. It was just panic in the box. I don't think it's an issue this season yet. Let's not make it become an issue, but unfortunately, conceding late goals is what I think is written in Stevenage history, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of used to it. Again, to answer that, look, we're used to it. We shouldn't be used to it, because that shouldn't be the Stevenage way. However, it has happened quite a lot in the past. Again, I just think that the goal last night was a mix of tired legs and probably panics in the dying seconds of the game when the ball was coming in the box. Probably exactly the same thing that happened at Morecambe. 10 minutes to go. Probably tired legs from the fixture congestion, and probably the lads have panicked a little bit because we're in a position to get our first away win of the season. So that's all I'd put it down to, really. I wouldn't put it down to much more. Not the quality of the team or anything like that.
So I think I summed it up quite well. I said you can take all the players and change all the players you want in Stevenage, but you can't take the Stevenage out of Stevenage, which is
that's about right.
I think that does sound about right.
Might get that too.
One last question. I know Michael sent in two. We'll do one. Michael has sent in, should Newton and Scott Cuthbert be dropped for a bit? If so, who comes in? Well, we've discussed a little bit.
I don't see why Newton would be dropped.
No, Newton shouldn't be dropped. Yeah, Newton and we've kind of answered that, really.
We kind of went over Scotty, didn't we? So
yeah, he's also mentioned about Ini Effiong going out on loan to Barnet.
Right move, I think. I think we spoke about Ini a lot, haven't we?
Didn't he score last night?
He did.
We get to mention that they lost 5-1. Beautiful.
But the thing is you can clearly see that Ini's just not right at the level yet.
I don't think it'll be the only players we start seeing going out on loan, etc., and thinning of the squad. January's around the corner. Yeah, I completely agree. Really good questions, though. Thank you for all the fans that are sending the questions. Fellas, I've got to be honest, this is a really cool moment because we're going to be back at the Lannick Saturday, boys. Hallelujah. Wow.
I know we talked about it last week, but it's still it's here now. It's less than 2 days away. It's I missed it so much. Just to go into our beloved Stevenage Football Club, see the stadium, see the players, see the coaching staff, see Rev, see Mark. Obviously, something we didn't mention tonight, Joe Dunn as well, new on the team. With Lenny Lawrence departing as well, we get to see Joe's. No more managerial advisors. No more managerial advisors. No more people sleeping on the time. Now, under the grapevine, I've heard a little thing that apparently he wasn't asleep. He was looking at the floor. Don't ask me how I know, but apparently that's the inside. Well, at least he can go home and have some porridge and. But all I'll say is the players have seen those tweets about him being asleep. I mean, all the best to Lenny. He's only a lovely guy, but yeah, he's only in 2 days a week. He's only in 2 days a week, and I'm not being funny. Joe Dunn is a good footballing head. He's a proper coach, a proper assistant. I'm very happy we've got Joe Dunn. He's a manager. He's managed Cambridge and Colchester, isn't he? He's managed at the level. Mate, I tell you, very,
And do you know what? He's a good guy to have on board for the future as well, hopefully. Very, very happy that he's on board. But, you know, and I think the other thing is, it's to see everyone, isn't it? Because we haven't really seen really any of the other Stevenage fans at the club. It's so long.
But I think it's a social distance high five.
Yeah.
What are you? Because obviously with the regulations, the bars ain't open. So what food you bringing?
Great.
What food you bringing? I've got to figure this out for me.
Bring some Pizza Hut in.
Bring some pizza. I think for me,
thing before the game, bring that in.
I think for me, I'm going to have to pop to Tesco and get a meal deal. It's got to be. It's got to be a cheeky little meal deal and a couple of drinks to bring in. It's got to be. It's got to be. Fellas, before we go, quick predictions for Saturday. We've got to throw it out there because we are back at the Lamex. Quick predictions for Saturday, fellas.
I'm going to be confident. I don't know why I am. I'll probably be let down, but I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 Stevenage.
Love that, Dan.
And I think
I'm not confident in us at the minute. 3-0.
Oh, you've nicked my prediction. I was going to say 3-0 Stevenage. I think Stevenage.
You say
I think
3-0 Stevenage every week, fella.
No. Well, do you know what? I'll go 2-0. There you go. I'll go 2-0 to change it. I know Dan went 2-0, but no, I think we'll score a couple of goals. I think the crowd will make a big difference, and I just believe our Stevenage team will kick on after the brilliant week we've had. So can't wait to be back, and can't wait to see you fellas in there as well. Bloody hell.
Been a while.
I know we're not all going to be next to each other, but just to be back and being able to just look over and see, oh yeah, we're here for the fact we are here, and actually get to the game.
It's going to be such a
club again.
It's going to be such a great feeling to go back into Stevenage Football Club, and it's our football club. To go back into our football club, it's going to be a real special moment. Fellas, thank you for joining me tonight. I've got to be honest, I don't know if you're the same as me, but I thoroughly enjoyed that, boys.
Definitely. Always do.
Always
enjoy a happy podcast.
Always a pleasure. And we're on the same team for the fans game in the morning, so there you go. You've got your best player, Matt Farley, at the back. Go on, the boy.
Don't get injured before, okay?
Oh, don't say that. Touch wood. I've just come back from a sprained ankle. Touch wood.
Don't get lucky, Farley.
I'm in goal, so I'm going to need a decent batsman.
Yeah, well, if anyone wants to come and watch a little game of football before Boro, come watch a game of football. Make fun of it. Boys, thanks for tonight. Again, we'll be back next week after going to Stevenage's first match that we're allowed to go into, and hopefully we've got a big win, season on 15 points. We'll be back next week building up the 2 games, Carlisle and Tranmere. My God, honestly. But thanks to the listeners for getting involved with this podcast today. It's been a pleasure for myself, Reece and Dan. Have a great week, and we'll see you again, hopefully, for a really good podcast next week, a winning podcast again. Thank you to all the listeners. You have been listening to the Stevenage Football Club podcast.